There's a ton of content out there, and if you don't know where to start, it can be overwhelming, even paralyzing. So let's fix that. Welcome to Simply Cyber, a community of tens of thousands of aspiring and active cybersecurity professionals focused on networking, knowledge sharing, and professional development. I'm Dr. Gerald Dozier, Chief Content Creator at Simply Cyber, inviting you to get the answers to your cybersecurity problems with hundreds of cybersecurity videos answering your frequently asked questions, interviewing industry experts, and live streaming daily cyber threat briefings hosted by me. Now get the stories and insights you won't find anywhere else. Hit subscribe now and dig into all the fresh content on the channel and in the community. Nothing should stop you from launching and leveling up your cybersecurity career today.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever in the world you are. My name is Eric Taylor, CEO and Chief Forensic Operator here at Barricade Cyber Solutions, and I want to welcome you to episode 475 of the top cybersecurity news now, so that way you know kind of what's going on in the industry today, so that way you are very informed as you go out there and crush it in the world of cybersecurity and InfoSec today. So glad to have everybody here. Sorry for the little bit of delay there. We're having a problem with the platform. Definitely was not running, late because of any other issues, even though it definitely could be a big problem. I'm hearing no sound. Mods, please advise, is there sound? I'm seeing in the YouTube chat, no sound, no sound. Are we having a typical Simply Cyber podcast issue today? All right, so everybody, okay, they have sound. Okay, may just be Carrie and maybe some other folks. So we'll move on. Great, thanks so much, YouTube chat. Greatly appreciate it. Cool. Where was I? Oh yeah. So please remember to say, or let me take a step back. Please remember that every episode of the Simply Cyber is worth half a CPE. So definitely mark it into the chat and let everybody know that you are here, that you are. So if it ever becomes auditable, you can definitely be able to prove that and be able to say, yep, I was here. I got, I should get my credits, things of that nature. Definitely want to say shout out and thanks to the stream sponsors. And of course, one time I forget to load that up. So sorry about that. Go to the site. And go to the site. Restream. So those who don't know, we use Restream, both Dr. Joe Dozier and myself, for all of our platform. And it's being very funky. It's not wanting to work the way that it normally does. So bear with me a little bit of grace while I'm trying to figure out why it's not doing what it wants to do. But anyway, first and foremost, definitely thanks to Black Hills Information Security Antisyphon training. This is a platform so that you could pay what you can to get leveled up and be able to be the best you that you can be, and be able to get those skills that you need to get into, even a Kroll, a Mandiant, a Barricade Cyber, any of these type of companies that you want to potentially work for. Introduction to PCI 101. One of the things that I always get on my soapbox a lot is, PCIs for credit cards. We can line up 10 companies and probably 9.5 of them aren't even doing PCI compliance. So it's really, really crazy. But regular expressions, that is one that's actually on my personal radar that I need to take. This is something I've always been struggling with, and as a lot of our threat analysis is advancing, definitely wanting to get into regex and things of that nature. So definitely check it out. What you pay what you can be able to do. If you they even accept less than $300. Look at that, less than $295. Yeah, you don't get any cyber ranges. There's a little bit of give and take, but you're able to take the class, right? So that's pretty cool. And I mean, full price. I think the last ones I took, they were about $700 or $800. They're really, really affordable in my personal opinion. I know everybody's situation is a little bit different. Hopefully this would be a good avenue for you. But if you are in the business and you are trying to get your incentives done inside of the organization, may I consider or recommend Panoptcy Security for a quantified risk assessment for your organization. Panoptcy will come in and try to help you do a lot of the communications with the CISO by presenting a report that the CISO and CFOs will clearly understand that they if you don't do X, it's going to consequent in Y. So definitely check out Panoptcy Security. Help get your cybersecurity for the business that you are operating in stronger going into 2024 than you were coming into 2023. That is literally the name of the game. Be more secure next year than you are this year. You can't go from 0 to 100 overnight. You're going to break some crap. I'm going to promise you that. I'm speaking from experience when I was in my early days. So, it's always the infamous crawl, walk, run. Very much so in this situation. So making these steps to be a more secure individual and organization moving forward than you are today is the name of the game. If you are live, please say hashtag Team Live in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us. I do see 198, 201 people today. We are not, unfortunately, streaming on LinkedIn at the moment. Again, restream problems. I don't know what in the world's going on, but we couldn't launch it by going to LinkedIn. So I literally had to remove the LinkedIn feed and change the time for 8 o'clock to 8:15, and then restream let me launch. But it's been acting really funky. I definitely see the Dolphins. And thanks to DJ BSEC, you will probably hear this sound most, but you are hearing it first with me being in the A chair. That is the Flaming Donkey, courtesies of DJ BSEC. And I am trying to pound down as much coffee as I can. It's been a crazy, crazy month, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. Team Dolphin. I see you casually, Joseph. If you are Team Live, thank you again so much. I do greatly appreciate it. If you are Team Hybrid, you're listening in and trying to get caught up, you're trying to figure out what it is. Just don't worry. This is not a typical show. Dr. Joe Dozier normally comes in and does his analysis of the top cybersecurity news from a CISO's perspective. I do a little differently. I am not a CISO. I am a practitioner, a day in and day out. So I give you a technical breakdown of the way things that I see it from the cybersecurity news. So you kind of get a little bit both sides of the situation, and it's a great honor and pleasure to be here at the grace of Dr. Joe Dozier, and because you guys keep saying, bring that air guy back. We like him. So I do greatly appreciate that. If you are Team Audio, you're listening on the podcast, hello to you. I know you can't see me, but I'm waving at you. Please drive safe. Things are crazy out there on the road. So hope you're able to get to your destination fine. With that, I do want to try to do some jaw jacking. My schedule is crazy. I do want to get to some jaw jacking, so I may fly through a little bit of stories. But we'll see how the stories play out a little bit and kind of go from there. So I'm going to turn some knobs and things, and hopefully we get some stuff lined up here, ladies and gentlemen. So bear with me a second. I do know there was, we're just reading on some of the headlines, definitely a little bit of some stuff that may become a little spicy. So we'll see how this plays out. All right, we got that. And for some reason, it is not pumping that audio over.
From the CISO series,
there we go.
Cybersecurity Headlines.
Here are the cybersecurity headlines for October 18th, 2023. I'm Sean Kelly. Zero-day attacks affect over 10,000 Cisco devices. Researchers have discovered attackers are exploiting a recently disclosed critical zero-day bug affecting at least 10,000 Cisco iOS XE devices, including enterprise switches, routers, access points, and wireless controllers. The maximum severity vulnerability targets devices with the web user interface enabled and that also have HTTP or HTTPS server toggled on. Researchers at VulnCheck say that privileged access on iOS XE could allow attackers to monitor network traffic, pivot to protected networks, and perform man-in-the-middle attacks. While a patch is not yet available, administrators should immediately disable the web interface, remove management interfaces from the internet, and check for suspicious user accounts.
Oh my!
The U.S. government warns of
And I'm
widespread
not pausing,
exploitation.
but what in the holy? Oh gosh! Oh my goodness! Can you bump up the audio on the CISO series? Sure thing, Casey. Let me bump that up a little bit. But yeah, this is definitely an issue. CISO series too low. All right, I'll tell you what. Everybody says there is too low. We'll bump back real quick. We do have a few moments of so we'll
From the
play this again.
CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
Here are the cybersecurity headlines for October 18th, 2023. I'm Sean Kelly. Zero-day attacks affect over 10,000 Cisco devices. Researchers have discovered attackers are exploiting a recently disclosed critical zero-day bug affecting at least 10,000 Cisco iOS XE devices, including enterprise switches, routers, access points, and wireless controllers. The maximum severity vulnerability targets devices with the web user interface enabled and that also have HTTP or HTTPS server toggled on. Researchers at VulnCheck say that privileged access on iOS XE could allow attackers to monitor network traffic, pivot to protected networks, and perform man-in-the-middle attacks. While a patch is not yet available, administrators should immediately disable the web interface, remove management interfaces from the internet, and check for suspicious user accounts.
So I got a serious question, and I know this happens a lot. We've had cases over the last years that if you've been in IT, you know some of these terms, and forgive me if you don't. But your Dell's iDRACs, your HP iLOs, being public facing on the internet and with default creds. We've even had some ransomware cases where threat actors got into the organization, using default creds in the out of band management for these servers. I don't know for the life. I understand from a IT perspective, being able to remotely access the firewall from a remote location without going into the network. I get it. I get it. It's a convenience thing. But why on God's green are you not putting limitations on it? Right? I mean, this is DJ BSEC actually put this over in the mod chat earlier. So shout out to him for, definitely sharing some knowledge here. And I'll post this in the chat if you want to follow along at your leisure. But this actually goes into, more of, how many devices are actually, out there, vulnerable to this particular thing. And it's just a train wreck, ladies and gentlemen. This just goes back to, if you don't know about a program called Shodan, oh, it would help if I actually switch that. So if you don't know about a program called Shodan that would scan your IP addresses, I think it's still free for like 3 IP addresses, maybe it's just one, but nevertheless, it's pretty cheap. And I know each year they have a major deal, a major sale for like $53 or some goofy number where you can, start monitoring even more of your organization. And I mean, it's a no brainer. And these ads are, well, I'm going to talk when you're going to see me do a little stuff that I've always recommended to some clients. But yeah, you really need to start getting into, doing your own OSINTing and, figuring out what exactly is on the network, what's potentially exposed. And this is for those who don't know, uBlock is an awesome awesome plugin that I typically try to get enabled here, especially on my sandboxing situations. So, things like firewalls, things like your, um, if you have any iDRACs, if you have, RDP, commonly known as ransomware deployment protocol by me, but it is kind of what it is. You really need to do some of your own scenting. And you see how Sleeping Computer is so much prettier now that uBlock is on. It's amazing, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that. Look at all the stuff it blocked. Anyway, as I said, uBlock extension. It's on all the browsers. Definitely consider that freaking app. It's amazing. But anyway, definitely, start doing some OScenting on your stuff, and you know, that way you can try to keep the ATP group out of your environment and having to call a company like Barricade Cyber to potentially remediate a potential compromise. But yeah, this is definitely not good. You definitely need to do some monitoring. Talk to Cisco and figure out the. There was a mention of here of looking for adverse or unusual usernames. That's one of the key things I'm always telling organizations that we're coming in contact with. They even say right here on September 18th, mark tape, take a look at this. When attackers were observed creating local usernames called Cisco TAC admin and Cisco support. So definitely look for that. There's some TTPs there, ladies and gentlemen, for you to, look at if that's potentially inside of your Cisco equipment. All right. So the more you know, ladies and gentlemen, the more you know.
U.S. government warns of widespread exploitation of Confluence vulnerability. Following up on a story we've been covering on cybersecurity headlines over the past 2 weeks, CISA, the FBI, and MSISAC are warning of potential widespread exploitation of a zero-day vulnerability in on-premises instances of Atlassian Confluence data center and server. The bug has been exploited by Chinese nation-state threat actors since September 14th, roughly 2 weeks before Atlassian released fixes. The bug is remotely exploitable without authentication and could lead to privilege escalation. The advisory further warns that successful exploitation could lead to threat actors creating additional unauthorized administrative accounts.
Holy train wreck. Come on. Oh. Can we just reboot the day? I do see in the chat before I get into the comments in here, Worldwide Wednesday. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I did mean to mention that this morning when I started off the podcast. There will be no Worldwide Wednesday. And why do you ask? Because Eric sucks at geography. That's why, to be completely honest with you. It is definitely a weakness for me. So I don't want to be a laughing stock showing my lack of geography in the world. So we're not doing Worldwide Wednesday, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. So it's very sorry about that. With that said, back to the stories. The last time I was on here and was talking about this, I mentioned being able to one day be hold people more responsible, hold being more secure tomorrow than we are today. And this just goes back to the government. Or no, this is actually Confluence data centers. My apologies. The government's warning about this. I quickly skimmed it way too fast. Sorry, federal overlords. Yeah, I'm a little salty, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long month, like I said. The Confluence and Atlassian, I believe is the way you pronounce it. They make some pretty cool software. Even when we were migrating away from being an MSP into cybersecurity, we were trying to figure out good platforms to use for our ticketing system, case management, really, and things of that nature. And I strongly looked at Atlassian's Jira, and it's a really, really cool platform. But when you take a look at the history of vulnerabilities with this freaking organization, it's astronomical. Like, it makes me literally want to go play in traffic if I seriously considered using that platform. And it's just time after time after time. The data that we are potentially working with, I don't want to, I mean, I'm already up half the night anyway, right? But I don't want to be worrying about my vendors having a 0 day in my clients' data, my interactions with clients and things of that nature is just, subject to disclosure. I don't need that garbage. So, um, find me at a conference and I'll tell you privately what we use, or if you're a client, you'll know what we use, but I'm not going to publicly disclose that. But anyway, on with the next one.
D-Link confirms data breach caused by phishing attack. The Taiwanese networking equipment manufacturer confirmed it suffered a data breach resulting from an employee falling victim to a phishing attack. In response, D-Link immediately shut down potentially impacted servers and disabled all but 2 accounts used during the investigation. The attacker claims to have stolen source code for D-Link's DView network management software, along with millions of personal info entries belonging to customers, employees, government officials, and the company's CEO. The stolen data allegedly includes names, emails, addresses, phone numbers, account registration dates, and the user's last sign-in dates. The threat actor is seeking $500 for the stolen data, despite the fact that timestamps reveal the info may date back to between 2012 and 2013.
Wait, hold the phone. Threat actor provided 45 samples. I have 3 million lines of customer information. The data is available for purchase on the hacking since October 1st, with the threat actor demanding $500. What? Oh, my sweet bejesus. That is a deal and a half, ladies and gentlemen. If you've ever been through any sort of cybersecurity incident, $500 is a no-brainer. I mean, it is from a quote-unquote test lab, so maybe it's not viable data. And what we see, like, there's mock data that you can use. Some organizations will actually use live data and just copy it over to a sandbox, or in this situation, a test lab. So it may or may not be legitimate customer information. So, but that's a really, really low. I mean, that's, those are a little senior like me. When I see that, I think of Kmart's red light special. And those who don't know, Kmart was a store that was a big competition to Walmart back in the day. And their clearance items, they literally put a red light above the carts and everything. So it was a red light special. Everybody look here, we're trying to get this clearance stuff out of our daggum store. So, but yeah, that's a red light special for whatever, just to potentially have your data removed. I doubt this, because this looks like VSS. This may be a different dark web site, but because some of them are starting to really blend together a little bit. But I mean, heck, even offer them $1,000 and tell them to remove the post and don't sell it to anybody else, and do your own. DJ B Seconds trolling me in the mod chat with the blue light special. But yeah, it's that's interesting. That is a steal. Oh goodness. Oh, the next story.
Meta now
And for those who are watching live online, you'll see like how some of these sites have a bunch of ads, and I refresh, and now all the banners are gone. It's because of uBlock. I'm telling you, it's the best freaking extension ever. I love it. So the more you know.
lets Instagram users stop online data collection.
Was it blue light special, DJ? I thought it was red light special. He just shared I just got an image in the mod chat about the actual blue light bulb for the Kmart. I thought it was a red light special. Whatever. Anyway, thanks for correcting me. I'm old. As casually Joseph will call me as a boomer.
Meta says it's expanded the ability of Instagram users to block data collection across the apps and websites they visit. This blocking was already a feature in Facebook and will allow users to review which businesses share info with Meta, disconnect specific activity, or clear collected information. Instagram users can find this feature called Activity Off Meta Technologies within the platform's account center. And now, a word from our sponsor, Vanta.
Oh my God, casually Joseph. I just seen that. Oh, now I know what red light special is. Sorry for those who are laughing at me. Holy moly. Thank you, casually Joseph, for the dropping of what the real meaning of a red light special is. Oh, I did miss the membership. Tim Fox became a squad member. Do we become best friends? Yep. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate you tuning in, Tim Fox. So yeah, this one, this has always been a thorn in my side, and you'll see a lot of times where on these on the podcast where they're talking about API, vulnerabilities and exploits and things of that nature. This is really where a lot of that stuff may come into, where applications are going to talk to each other, and they're doing it by an API typically, unless they're in their own ecosystem, and they'll do back-end SQL communications and stuff. So it's about time they start segmenting their own freaking crap. I mean, come on. Even if you're running into your own internal network, your management devices, like I said earlier, your iDRAX, your VLANs, your ESXi host, all that should be a management VLAN. It should not be exposed and accessible to the general public inside of your trusted environment. That is a management, and only certain people should be allowed to access management VLANs. Kind of the same thing. I do understand the feasibility of allowing cross-talk communication between your platforms for ease of the end user experience, but there is there's a risk to it all, right? So you get into one application, it goes into the other one, right? Yeah, I'm getting trolled in mod chat for the red light. For those who don't know what red light is, just go Google it on your own term, because this is a PG-13 Disney room type of chat. I will refrain from commenting on what that is, but sorry for that, for not remembering what that was.
Growing a business? That likely means more tools, third-party vendors, and data sharing, aka way more risk. Vanta's market-leading trust management platform brings GRC and security efforts together. Integrate information from multiple systems and reduce risks to your business and your brand, all without the need for additional staffing. And by automating up to 90% of the work for SOC 2, ISO 27001, and more, you'll be able to focus on strategy and security, not maintaining compliance. Join 5,000 fast-growing companies that leverage Vanta to manage risk and improve security in real time. Our listeners get $1,000 off Vanta. Go to vanta.com/CISO to claim this discount. That's vanta.com/CISO.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time, this is what we call the mid-roll. Thank you so much to everybody who has been joining in and being able to hang out with us today. I do greatly appreciate it. Thanks again to the show sponsors. I do know that Barricade, we're pretty much here till the end of time, as long as Dr. Gerald Ozier does it. I've heard Dr. Gerald Ozier also mention that Panoptcy and Black Hills are going to be here for the long term. So you're going to hear a lot about us over the next month, 6 months, a year. All three of us organizations are definitely very rooted and want to make sure that a platform like this is here for you guys and gals that are out in the audience to be able to, again, level up, get into the industry. This has been a fabulous community to be able to do that. And with that, definitely want to mention the Simply Cyber Community Challenge. Mods, please let me know. I did try to find on LinkedIn this morning the Simply Cyber Community Challenge, but I wasn't able to find it. I think LinkedIn altogether is just acting freaking goofy as all get out. Um, so I don't know who the current baton holder is, but simply use the hashtag Simply Cyber Community Challenge in your search for the pot, and you'll find other users that are watchers, and be able to see other like-minded folks, be able to connect with them, and be able to expand your local reach and international reach. There's people that we're connecting with even on my side in India and Tel Aviv and just all over the globe. It's really, really cool to be able to see different perspectives, right? So I said it before and I'll say it again. Um, if you ever, around me or whatever, you notice that a lot of us who are in the trenches, we're in our own our own little bubble, right? And we, it's hard to see other perspectives, a different take on a potential vulnerability in CVE, and being able to see what other people are saying about something like this, or anything that may be of interest to you, may put a different spin on things. You can take that with anything with life, right? But uh, it's good to see how other people do it, and how people potentially are able to potentially exploit it. Hats off to you know John Hammond over there. That I think was Huntress. He does a lot of reverse malware, and it's just one of those things. I even look at him like, how in the world do you do that? But anyway, oh, thank you so much, Jen Hughes. So, we do have the post. Thank you so much. You are a darn rock star. So let's see. Does her? All right, cool. So Carrington White was the baton holder. I don't know if she is in the chat. If you are in the chat, Miss Carrington White, please say hi, and please nominate somebody for the to talk about their Simply Cybersecurity. Oh, this is pretty cool. It's, born in 1990, southern region of Africa. That is cool. Yeah, definitely not a drug-free environment. Those who don't know, it's rough down there. So it looks like she goes into, talk about her history and her life a little bit here. So this is really, really cool. So definitely connect with her, and connect with other folks that are on here, like Aaron Gaza, like James Driscoll, and our one and only mod Jenny Housley, right? So if you're not connected with them, definitely connect with them, and expand your circle. Oops. Assumptions. It's the mother of all f-ups. I was just advised Carrington is a man, not a woman. My apologies. I told you this, I am train wrecking that today. Holy moly. Assumptions are the mother of all. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, definitely connect with Carrington White, and expand your reach, connect with those again that are on the post, and be able to expand your reach, and be able to expand your knowledge of different things that are going on in the industry. And with that, let's carry on and stop doing the crazy assumptions that I like to do.
Malicious Notepad++ Google ads evade detection for months. Threat actors have been abusing Google Ads in a months-long malvertising campaign targeting users looking to download the popular Notepad++ text editor. The campaign's URLs filter out crawlers, VPNs, and bots, eventually landing victims in a site that contains decoy download links for the text editor. Upon clicking those links, a second check is performed to ensure the visitor is not protected by a sandbox. Victims who are deemed suitable targets are served a script which researchers found not to be weaponized. However, they identified a prior version of the same file that attempted to connect to a remote domain on a custom port they believe is part of a Cobalt Strike deployment. To protect themselves, users should skip promoted results on Google search and double-check they've landed on an official domain.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a story as old as time. Casual Joseph, I see that your Discord notes. Yes, I'm train wrecking it up. Point of correction, the LinkedIn post said southern region of America, not Africa. So yes, I do need more coffee. I'm completely out. Unlike Dr. Joe Dozier, I don't have a French press that I can just freaking pump over here. I've actually got to go and get coffee and all that. But anyway, this is a tale as old as time, ladies and gentlemen. Like I was saying, being able to spin up ads and default landing pages or landing pages to mimic the website. Always make sure that you are going to a trusted source. A lot of firewalls that are out there will help you make sure that you're not landing on potentially malicious sites and things of that nature. So definitely look at the stuff, just make sure you download from a trusted repo if you can, trusted sites, things of that nature. So one thing that I would always probably recommend, especially over the past year this thing's been going on, if you're looking for software to download for your devices, maybe not click on the sponsored ad for it. If you're looking for Notepad, I know it's easy, like, oh, Notepad, boom, click. But, that's kind of a horrible, horrible concept. All right. So definitely spend the money on the advertisers when you're looking to buy you're actually looking for a service or something, but I wouldn't just pick for a software download.
UAE and U.S. partner to bolster financial services cybersecurity. During the GitTex Global Conference in Dubai, Dr. Mohammed Al-Kuwaiti, head of cybersecurity for the UAE government, met with Todd Conklin, Deputy Assistant Secretary for the Treasury, and agreed to cooperate in multiple areas. These areas include sharing cybersecurity incident and threat info, staff training and study visits, and conducting cross-border cybersecurity exercises. This effort is part of the U.S. Treasury's collaborative approach to improving cybersecurity for the international financial system through public-private partnerships and developing relationships with international partners.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get on a soapbox. Are you ready for this? I don't know if you are. I heard rumor yesterday that the U.S. Treasury Department and the IRS are launching. I see this. What plugin are you using for the ad blockers? I'm using this program called uBlock. So definitely check that out. I've seen U.S. Treasury Department and the IRS going to launch a payment portal or a self-registry, a processing portal going into the 2024 year to file 2023 taxes. Bypassing your H&R Block and all your box stores, and you're able just to use the same technology that they would do right on the IRS's website. If you folks are old enough to remember when the Affordable Health Care Act was implemented, how much a effing train wreck that was, where everybody was looking at the federal government like they were a bunch of, right? And, they just couldn't get their act together. Now we're doing it with the IRS. And now the Treasury Department is working with international partners. Why? Don't get me wrong, we all need to bolster our cybersecurity, but I don't. When I think that, I don't think our people that are operating our day-to-day operations of money and taxes and things of that nature, working with other governments. Maybe that's just a little tinfoil hat. Like, we should kind of keep that in our own house here, right? Uh, no, I don't like it. Right. No, we can't even secure our own government, and we're going to be working on internet, whatever. This is nothing good is going to happen of this. Nothing good. I guarantee you. Moving on.
Fake browser updates used for malware distribution. Cybersecurity researchers from Proofpoint are tracking at least 4 distinct threat clusters mimicking fake updates for popular browsers like Chrome, Firefox, and Edge. Proofpoint said the threat actor, TA569, has been using the tactic for over 5 years to deliver malware called sock Ghoulish, while more threat actors have since adopted the strategy. The attack is stealthy and uses 3 stages, starting with deployment of JavaScript or HTML-injected code on a compromised website, then directing traffic to a threat actor-controlled domain before finally executing the payload on the user's device. The campaign's success lies in exploiting users' trust in known and safe sites. Proofpoint says the attack underscores the need for robust security controls, including network detection, security awareness training, and incident reporting procedures.
Yeah, because cybersecurity training has worked so well. That's why CISO's mentioned it for the past 6 years. On the cybersecurity month, right? But it's October. It's cybersecurity month, and how's everybody enjoying all those sales pitches to buy more product and all this other stuff? It's freaking insane. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Proofpoint's implementation process, but they do some good work, right? So, hats off to them. That they're really a bunch of knowledgeable people over there doing some real good work trying to find fake browser extensions and updates and things of that nature. And this kind of goes back to the notepad topic. Make sure you're downloading from a trusted source. Making sure you have ad blockers in place to potentially block malicious ads from loading on a page, and being able to use firewall controls to verify that you're actually going to where you think you're going. Good EDR in case those two things break down. And, that EDR is looking at behavior analytics to be able to determine, what this application is doing so it doesn't fester and be able to come in and, completely just wreak havoc and do potentially malicious things inside of an environment. So it's it's definitely a theme. Be careful where you're going, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Tech CEO sentenced to 5 years in IP address scheme.
Oh,
Amir
boy.
Golistan, the 40-year-old CEO of the Charleston, South Carolina-based technology company Micfo LLC, has
What?
been sentenced after pleading guilty to an elaborate IP address scheme. Golistan used a network of phony companies to secure more than 735,000 IP addresses from the American Registry for Internet Numbers, or ARIN. ARIN sued Golistan and Micfo back in 2018 for obtaining the IP addresses under false pretenses. While that dispute was settled in arbitration, federal prosecutors in South Carolina took notice, filing criminal wire fraud charges against Golistan in May of 2019. The U.S. DOJ says Golistan will serve 60 months in prison, pay ARIN nearly $77,000 in restitution, followed by a 2-year term of court-ordered supervision. And that does it for today.
That is, I mean, this is in Dr. Joe Dozier and I's backyard. I didn't even know this guy even existed and this thing even went on. But how? This is something I got to dig into, because this is a weird one. I mean, you can submit and buy block of IP addresses for which you're able to do whatever you want to do. Was he? I don't see how this is wire fraud just because you obtained a metric ton of IP blocks. Is it good that you're just IP squatting? Probably not. I mean, there's been story after story over the past couple of years how we're running out of IP addresses, but I don't see how this is wire fraud. But again, we don't do a whole lot of prep work for this thing. And like I said just a moment ago, I didn't even know this thing was this is a thing. This dude lived in our backyard in Charleston, South Carolina. I didn't even know of this freaking company. That is nuts. So this is definitely a takeaway item for me. I don't know. I don't know. That's weird. Person work assisting in federal part. So he flipped and did. Oh, this was led to boom times when the car, but it was likewise a bold when those who specialize in with spamming dormant IP blocks. So buying a bunch of IPs and then reselling it for people to spam out of, is that part of the wire fraud? $4 billion so-called. Sorry, bear with me a little, Grace. This is really interesting. I'm trying to figure out what. All right, so the TLDR, from what I'm just gathering here, and again, I could be completely wrong because 20-second, 30-second analysis, but I mean, some of the stuff I was saying, I think is what he's doing is buying those IP addresses and then selling lease access to them, which I mean, you kind of do with your ISP. And then those were being used for spamming. I don't know how that's considered wire fraud. There's maybe something that, hey, they had to bust them on something, so they did this maybe. Yeah, I had almost DJ BSEC said in the mod chat they had almost 1 million IP addresses. Yeah, I understand that, but I don't know how that equals wire fraud. How do you get from point A to point B? I'm trying to connect the dots, and that's definitely something I'm going to have to take away and try to figure out, right? So that's going to be interesting to kind of figure out. If you're just here for the news, thank you so much for tuning in. I do greatly appreciate it. We will stick around for the jaw jacking. We do have just a few quick minutes. I do have to scoot at the top of the hour. So if you do have a question, put it into the chat, just Q : and then your question. As I see them come up, I'll try to be very brief in an answer. Hopefully everybody is, if you're traveling to Wild Hacking Fest, hopefully everything is going well. I did see reports, was it last week or beginning of this week, that they were having snow or expecting snow up there. So hopefully your travels are going well. But if you're wanting to get back to the daily grind, but yeah, I'm definitely need more coffee because I'm out. Last drops, all right. But thank you so much. We will stick around for the jaw jacking for a moment. I wish everybody a good day, and thank you so much for tuning in. 249 of you lovely folks stuck through this entire thing, listening to me train wreck it in the mid-roll. I'm just looking for questions. If there's no questions, no worries. We'll just kind of end it up and let everybody get back to their individual rock piles of the day. The infamous Carrie has a question. What's going on? Let's see. Oh, not a question. I'm still struggling. I use AdGuard ad blocker, and that has worked. YouTube is trying to get rid. Well, yeah, Carrie. I mean, you got to understand that, ads are a vehicle of monetization for YouTube. absolutely are going to try to get rid of that. And if you want to get rid of ads, and you're going to pay them to help get rid of ads. I mean, it's a business model for them, right? So, does Wawa Hacking Fest start today? I'm trying to figure out the virtual. I don't think so. I think everybody's flying out today. If I remember right, the training day starts today, I think. So let's see. Question, Eric. In India, do you work in the north, south, east, or west? I'm a graduate of ITT Rokai. I'm in the southeast of the state, United States. I'm in Charleston, right outside of Charleston, South Carolina. David, you are welcome, sir. Yeah, talking about the red light. Yeah, I totally train wrecked that. It's been crazy. What do you do for incident response stack at a greenfield company, from insurance to supplement endpoint stuff like Huntress or, oh God, Luke, Huntress, oh God. So if you stuck around for me to go full on with a little bit of welcome to it. All right, let's take this. Huntress is not an EDR. I don't give a flying what they say. They're not an EDR. Could Huntress become an EDR? Absolutely. They have the capability, they have the talent to do it. They just won't. Plus, they're only really focused on the MSP space, so they're not enterprise. They have some cool ideas. They're doing a lot of canary things, trying to do that. But when you go through and you look at Cisternal's any run application, it is that revamped. So a lot of their stuff does go through a manual process. So they got to run, it requires a manual process. And, I don't know much about Halcon, but Barricade does do an IR retainer. We do use CrowdStrike Falcon. It's approved by all the insurance carriers for our DFIR work. So, when we're brought in on cases, we got to use what's approved. And I'm just going to tell you that while some MSP folks like Blackpoint Cyber, and there's a couple other ones that are MSP centric. Those who don't know, MSP, managed solution provider, outsource IT. They're getting more and more on the graces of insurance to be able to use, but they are, they're not an IR firm. Can they do it? Absolutely. I know the folks at Blackpoint Cyber, really, really knowledgeable folks, like next level, came from 3-letter agencies, a lot of them. And, is another one of those groups that if they talk, I shut up and listen to see what they got to say. Yeah, just, yeah, Luke, I would say, go to barricadecyber.com, go down to the bottom, just do schedule an introduction, and we'll have a more one-on-one conversation. I don't want to go full psycho on this one, but yeah. Do we negotiate with threat actors? Yeah, we do all the time. We got most of our engagements do include threat actor negotiations. Unfortunately, most of our stuff is under attorney-client privilege. We're not allowed to talk about those stuff right now. We've had some pretty good success wins, bringing from cases from like 3 million down to 500,000. We had one case not too long ago with Black Hat, Alfie, where they were still in the environment and the client wasn't doing some of the recommended actions that we were proposing, and they found out that we were involved and called us out by name. and started hammering our infrastructure, where that was an interesting time. And I'm like, we're probably going down. But no, I mean, our defenses stood up. So, you know, uh, the three finger salute to them, if you will. Um, let's see. Again, we're at the top of the hour. I'll take one or two more quick questions. Let's see. Frank, I don't see it in the chat here. I'm looking at mod chat. So, Frank, Eric, are you going to go to B-Sides Charleston? I'm going to try, Frank. I know Dr. Gerald Ozier is going there. I know Casually Joseph, I think, is going there. So, um, I'm going to try. It really depends on, the work schedule and things of that nature. So we'll kind of go from there. Alua Beinson, again, hooked on phonics, never worked for me. Do insurance companies acquired their third-party vendor risk by themselves? So I think let me see if I can find this in here real quick. So what I think the question is, do insurance companies contract a third party to do a risk assessment on themselves? They're supposed to, but we've seen so many of these cases publicly disclosed that insurance carriers the carrier themselves. So like Chubb and Travelers and Nationwide, the actual underwriter, the main carriers, yeah, they definitely do. But your Billy Bob, Joe's ice cream shop, and insurance company down the road, they don't, right? So came through from Discord, and this will be the last question unless somebody snags something up. I have an opportunity to be a guest speaker at a middle school cyber foundations class. Any resources you might suggest? You got to be careful with this one. Yeah, this will be the last question. Yeah, you have to be careful. So you have to do your best at educating them on what's fake and what's not. Unfortunately, a lot of folks, especially teenagers, will quickly adopt a mindset that what they see on LinkedIn or Twitter, or Facebook or Snapchat or Truck Bus or Moongate or whatever platform it is, that that is gospel. And if there's a way to show, not getting political, but show how people are fished, how people are, or when, take a step back. The big thing that middle schools need to know about, 10-second warning. If you have little kids in the room, please excuse them, put on your headphones or something. We're going to have semi-adult talk for a moment. Okay? All right. Sexploitation is a major, major issue. The sex trafficking, all that stuff. I can't tell you how many times a month I am getting called because they took pictures of themselves thinking they were, engaging with somebody that they were, having a relationship with, and come to find out it wasn't them, kind of like the catfishing thing. But, the sex, it literally is, the sextortion is a massive, massive issue. If there is a way that we could advise kids of these threats to make them more secure and help advise them to help talk to their parents. I know there's a lot going on and stuff like that, but definitely try to talk to some other folks who have had success in those type of communications, and see if, is there some slides and things of that nature. I guarantee you, if you find other people who've done this type of communications, they will be happy to share this, because this is definitely something that's, needed. Bear with me one second. All right, but yeah, I do have to go. Got an issue that I gotta go deal with. But find somebody who can help communicate that information and make it relevant to teach young people about technology and the dangers that the predators are going to them. And with that, sorry, I wanted to go down that rabbit hole a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. So kind of go from there. But anyway, again, thank you so much for tuning in. I do greatly appreciate everybody. With that, we will do the sea shanty and Dr. Gerald Ozier bugging out. Tune in tomorrow for the live from the Wild Wild Hacking Fest for Dr. Gerald Ozier, and be able to kind of go from there. But anyway, y'all take care now.
There once was a kid whose passwords laid across all sites. They were the same, a criminal, then found their fame by taking that data to go.
Soon may a criminal come to steal your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime is done, they'll steal your account and go.
Everybody, I hope you enjoyed that content. Keep the cybersecurity train going by connecting with the other Simply Cyber community resources. We have the Discord server that's lively and always keeps the conversation going. You can connect with me directly on LinkedIn. And also every single weekday morning on the Simply Cyber channel, we're doing live daily cyber threat briefings, 8 a.m. Eastern time, as well as Thursday at 4:30 p.m. We're doing live stream interviews with industry experts, and we produce videos that we push out every Wednesday morning. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. I hope you enjoyed the content, and we'll see you in the next one.